All right guys, super beautiful Lala Valjek. We're here on the back nine. Let's check it out, see what the finish looks like. All right, first hole on the back nine, hole 10, 115 meters. We got kind of two fairways and we got, 377 feet. But we got this kind of left-hand gap where you can drag a forehand towards the building and then fade just past that FPO blue basket. And then the basket's another, I would say 80 to 100 feet down, this kind of downslope. Or you can take a hyzer flip mid-range fairway and go up this right-hand side. The first one I'm just gonna take towards that building, through the gap, and try to fade past that FPO basket and skip to the bucket. Okay, I pulled it a little bit left. Looks like I might get a little lucky. Okay, so that looks like it could be close to, there's OB over there. It's gonna be close to that OB. I'm gonna try to play a little bit more disc because that was a little bit shorter than I wanted. So I'm gonna throw general, a little bit more flex, start it off right and flex it into the gap. There we go, I like that. I turned it a tiny bit too much. Oh, so I got a bad kick. So I'm gonna throw one more. I'm gonna try to hit this gap a little cleaner. This time I'm gonna throw a criminal, kind of right between a felon and that general I threw. There we go, I like that a lot. If it doesn't ace the FPO. Okay, so I like that. That's gonna be kind of the ideal shot. As you can see, it's a pretty tricky shot. It's definitely not a wide open shot. You got to hit a very tight gap and get the perfect amount of flex and then fade back at the very end, which I did with that third one, but it kind of took me a couple to get the feel for it, which is normal when you're playing a course for the first time, which I am. You're just kind of learning how far the trees are before your discs start flexing. Like this tree is going to be in the way if I'm not controlling the amount of flex I put on it. So yeah, I like that third one, that criminal. I like the skip action and how it didn't really skip left or too far right. It kind of skipped forward and then a little bit right at the end. But yeah, come up here, check out the OB, see where it's placed and see what kind of shot shape and disc choice I want to make on a hole like this. Okay, so it brought me to my drive. First two, the first one was safe, but it was kind of outside of birdie range, probably like, C2.5 type thing. Second one, as you saw the skip, and you saw the gap that I had to hit, pretty tight gap. But I would say it's probably one of the harder par threes on the course, and which is fine to have. I like on a course like this, it's not the hardest course ever, but it's good to have these kind of tricky par threes where you got to really lace a shot. You got some out of bounds and you got some stroke swings. If you birdie it, you're going to probably gain strokes on a lot of the field. And so, yeah, very challenging par three. A lot of variables. You got OB, you got down slopes, you got trees, and you got a cool green. So a lot of good variables on this hole. All right, we got 233 meters on hole 11. It's a par four, kind of dog legs right towards the, I would say, 450, 500 foot range. It starts dog legging down this right hand side with a road and kind of tree line that kind of hugs the left hand side. You can see those trees in the distance straight ahead. That kind of starts the left hand side fairway. And I really want to kind of go over that green trash can thing in the left center of the fairway. Kind of want to go over that, somewhere near that, and then start fading. That'll put me in a good spot to attack the par four. So that's a little high first, more than I wanted. And that didn't get quite enough glide as much as I want. So it's not a horrible shot. It's not my favorite shot either. I'm gonna throw one more. I'm gonna throw a general, and I'm gonna throw a little bit lower and a little bit more turn. This kind of building kind of psychs me out because I don't want to turn and hit it. So that's I think why subconsciously that first one I threw it high and a little bit more right than I wanted. But I'm just gonna have to start it along this right side tree line a little bit and then turn into the gap. So we'll try that. Yeah, another one that's hyzering a little bit too early. But it's not the worst, I don't think. And we'll see what the OB looks like up there. I'm gonna throw one more. Kind of got some tailwind that's kind of hyzering them out as well. So I think that's helped making them stable up. This one's gonna be a little bit more glide. It's gonna penetrate straighter for longer because it's flippier general. There we go. I like that one a little bit more. So yeah, that one looked a lot better. So we'll see where those are. Those are still not exactly what I want. It'll take me a couple more to dial it in, but they're hyzering out a little bit more than I want. I want to get a little bit more flex on it. And yeah, but it's all right. We'll see what kind of spot we landed on those first three. Okay, so I got a little bit further right side, so the fairway is ideally this way, but the OB kind of lines the left side, so it makes you kind of want to favor this right-hand side, which is okay because it guarantees that you're going to be safe, but then it just makes the second shot a little bit harder. And you can see I can't really throw a forehand because I got this tree initially in my way. So it shapes up like it would be a left to right forehand shot, but I actually got to go out and around and then turn. And so it makes it awkward for me to throw a forehand. So I actually have to throw a backhand because I'm able to throw it out around this tree and then turn, which you can't really do with the forehand. So I'm going to try this backhand compass, go out and around this tree and then turn pretty late in the flight. Let me see where the basket is. I don't know how far or anything this is. I'm just totally relying on feel. So that feels pretty solid. Got the good line on it. See where the distance is. Oh, that almost probably would have went in if it didn't hit that tree. But yeah, so that was kind of when you're pinched off on the right-hand side of fairways like this, and you can't really throw that forehand, which I would prefer, you still have to be able to have that left to right kind of backhand anti-flex shot like you saw there. So just another reason why you have to have all the skills in your bag to be able to make a shot whenever you feel like you're kind of slightly uncomfortable and slightly blocked on a shot like that. Pretty cool here in Estonia. I think they have Nike Estonia sponsoring. We got a Nike swoosh on the bottom of a disc golf basket. That's pretty cool. And that's, yeah, just awesome to see disc golf getting in the spot like this, even in a small country where, you know, they really take note of what this sport can do for a country like Estonia. So this is where our kind of backhand puts us. Whoops, a little bit low on that putt. But yeah, gotta throw that backhand. I kind of hit this low ceiling, low hanging branch here, but it's totally fine because if you do hit that, that means you threw a good shot and you're still putting from circle's edge. So yeah, I like this hole. Forehand off the tee. And if you get pinched, gotta throw a backhand. Preferably, I'd of course want to throw another forehand to the basket with a left to right shape on it, but gotta be prepared even if you're out of position. That's the name of the game. All right, hole 12, we got a smash of a par 3 straight up a hill, and we got a headwind coming in, 139 meters, 456 feet. This is a real par 3 if I'm seeing one. And I've played a lot of long par 3s on the Pro Tour. We got a light pole in the middle of the fairway. We got kind of some trees on the right-hand side, and it looks like if you do happen to turn it, which you want to get a lot of turn and glide since it's such a far hole, if you hit that and drop, it looks like you still would be in bounds and just kind of pitching up for the par. But I'm going to try to just go kind of aim, and that light pole is so far away. I don't normally like to aim at stuff like that because if it's in your head, you'd be amazed how many times I'm like, oh yeah, just aim right at that tree, and it'll miss it left or right, and then you just smack the tree. Like, yeah, I'm a professional. You don't aim at something that you don't want to hit. That doesn't even make any sense. But I'm going to try to go just left of that kind of that light pole thing, and it's 456, so it's a smash. I'm throwing this probably not quite 100%, but I'm getting there because it's going to play like almost 500 feet by the time you're going this far uphill. So let's smash one and see if we can't get pin high. Okay, so that's going to be a little shy because I didn't quite get the amount of glide I wanted. Yeah, I like the line, just not quite enough glide. And once again, we're going uphill. So as you saw, it's stabled out. So I'm going to go a little flippier and get a little more glide and get it pin high. See, I turned that one over, trying to get the distance. Should be still safe. So that's safe. Look, I think the OB kind of cuts back right. I'm going to try one more here. I want to try, this is a very tricky par 3 because you got a kind of narrow gap OB uphill, and you got to get a perfect full flight on it. There we go. That felt good. So we'll see where that one puts us. It should be somewhere around pin high. Yeah. So that felt really good. That should be around circle's edge, and threw it pretty solid, 80% general. Just got a good glide on it and then skip back left at the end. Once again, this is a good hole. I mean, you have to be able to throw 500 feet to birdie it basically. And if not, you're just gonna play for a par. But yeah, it's tricky, very tricky. Even if you can throw 500 feet, doesn't mean that you're gonna hit the gap, not turn it over, not hyzer out. A lot of variables, even if you do have that distance in your bag. It's not a gimme by any means. It off a little more than we wanted. It's still inside the circle, so that's nice. I just threw pretty much a straight hyzer that didn't get that much glide, and it still was able to get up here in the circle and get the bird. I love practicing these like 30 to 32 foot putts right on the circle's edge, because anytime you have long holes like this, they're hard to park. So you're gonna be left with circle's edge putts a lot. And those are the difference between at the top level shooting, you know, 10 to 12 under if you're making all these putts that are, let's say, within, you know, 5 to 10 feet of the circle's edge, and then shooting, you know, 6 to 8 under if you miss 2 or 3 of those in a round. So that's the difference in practicing them. Just seeing the putt go in. It's like a basketball player. You know, you want to see a free throw, see something go in the basket, and give you that confidence to kind of build off of in the round. You know, everyone has those rounds where it just feels like you can't make a putt, and then once you do, you're like, all right, the putt can go in. You get to see one go in the chains and fall in the basket, and they're like, all right, let's go. We get some momentum going, and just like a shooter, when you're shooting threes, see one go through the hoop. Steph Curry sees one go in. He's got that confidence, and he's gonna have a good shooting day. So same thing with putting. Definitely reminds me of a lot of similarities with basketball. All right, we got 155 meters, kind of the opposite of the last hole. The last hole is uphill, playing about 450, 500. This one's 500, playing a little bit downhill. And so they're probably playing about the similar distance. And it's got 509 feet, but I'd say it's probably playing 450, something like that. And so have no idea how my disc is gonna react up there, if it's gonna skip, if it's gonna stick. So I'm gonna throw a nice smooth 450, kind of at this right side telephone pole. We got a little bit of a right to left wind, it looks like, and hopefully carry to the bucket. That looks like a little wide, first impression, but let's see how much it hyzers here. Okay, so that felt good actually. It started hyzering a lot at the end. I'm gonna try one more here, similar shot. I like the line. I'm gonna throw a little bit higher, so that way it has time to kind of glide around the corner. That one was a little more penetrating low. This one's gonna be kind of more penetrating high. Give it that chance to kind of fade back. Oh shoot, caught the glasses. So that looks good, high. Has time to fade back at the end right now, and I like it. So a little left, or a little right of the basket. As you can see, these trees stick out, so it kind of forces you to throw a little bit wide and around them, more than you want. I also did, on my walkthrough earlier today, I saw that the OB line does go left, so right side, circle's edge, is gonna kind of be the sweet spot. And we also have the sea right there, the Baltic Sea, and I was told that a lot of times it's a prevailing headwind, which is good to know, because if you're thrown into a headwind 500 feet, you're putting a lot of speed on it, you're just gonna wanna turn. So if that headwind's kicking up, you're gonna have to kind of hug this tree line a little bit more and play the headwind turning it, as opposed to playing a no wind shot and having that headwind turn you out of bounds. So just trusting your disc, trusting the wind read, those are all important factors when you're making you know, wind reads out here and making game time decisions on what disc, what angle, and all that stuff that you want to throw on a hole like this. Okay, so this hole is listed at 509 feet, which makes sense, because it's hard to reach, because these trees on the left-hand side, or the left-hand side, don't allow you to get that kind of flex, which is what you need to get that lot of glide, a lot of distance. So it forces you to keep it on the hyzer, which I'm a little short. I was a little surprised, but it's definitely not playing as far downhill as I initially thought. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a hole kind of, a lot of people are going to have to potentially hit a long circle 2 putt if you want to birdie it. Or, you know, I'm sure I can get it closer if I push this tree line a little bit more with a little bit more flex on it. So yeah, just kind of, this was where I landed. This is kind of where I thought the basket was based on the distance, but obviously I was wrong, and I'm going to make the adjustment for the next round. I want to give a big shout out to my sponsor, Dynamic Disc. They've been supporting me doing these videos, and shout out to Joey. Joey Tamale's been helping film, and so between Dynamic and Joey, they're making it easy to come out here, film these videos for you guys, educate you while you're watching, and be able to help work through my mental strategies when I'm playing a course like this. So thanks Dynamic, and thanks Joey Tamale. All right, hole 14, we got another 450 plus par 3. It's listed at 440, but we got a pretty good upslope, so I'm gonna say it's 450 at least. And that's 3 par 3s over 450. That's crazy. This one's doglegging left, and it looks like you wanna throw kind of a penetrating hyzer along this left-hand side and fade back pretty hard left. So it looks like you kinda wanna hug this left-hand side, which is tough because you see all the trees. but you don't want to go too wide and go over that fence. So got a lot to think about on this tee shot. I like that though, a lot. So yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's pretty much exactly what I was going for. I'm just gonna throw one, kind of just leave. Sometimes when I throw a good shot like that, I'll just leave that being my last memory on that hole, especially when I'm going into a tournament. Let that be your last move on that hole, and then you know what it feels like to throw that good feeling shot. So, but yeah, this is, you know, this kind of, it's hard, awkward to throw a shot along a tree line like this, because you know if you hit something, you're gonna be just in jail. But you know you also have to hug that tree line to get back left enough to be on that pin high line. All right, so I was happy with this shot, a little bit short on a hole like this, and the last hole for that matter. You're throwing 450 plus, but you're not able, there's tree lining the fairway, so you're not able to get that flex and get that distance. It forces you to keep it on that hyzer, which when you're doing that, it's harder to get that distance. So that's why it's hard to reach some of these 450 uphills when it forces you to not be able to flex. That ain't gonna stop us, boy, from getting the bird. Twice or it's luck, 3 times, let's go. Oh, I stuck it. I thought that last one was gonna fall out. And then behind the back for good measure. Oh, that would have been freaking awesome. But yeah, 450 uphill, kind of, you know, just kind of, you know, you're not, it's harder to park these kind of holes. So you're left with circle 1.5, and that's kind of a bonus birdie hole out here at La Valjic. All right, hole 15, we got a par 4. We're breaking the 450 uphill par 3 streak with a par 4. So we got 197 meters, 646 feet. I'm gonna throw a forehand, kind of fade back right. I'm gonna see where that puts me. Actually, you know what, I lied. I'm gonna throw a backhand right through this gap. Yeah, just blast a backhand through there. It almost feels like a roller would work, but this grass seems pretty long, so I don't know if I'm gonna go with the roller. So kind of got a crosswind, which is gonna help us keep us a little bit straight. Just try to blast, you know, this one's, it's not just a blast shot. It's a, hey, you gotta blast it, but not throw it too high. So it's just a low line drive, kind of Calvin Heimberg very esque. That's a little bit too much turn. So I probably hit that tree. Try to throw one more here. Just kind of hyzer flip into this kind of crosswind that's gonna drag it left, or drag it right. There we go, that's felt way better. So I like that one a lot. Low line drive, just like that. And you know, that crosswind kind of just carried the first one over. And that second one, I just put a little bit more hyzer and let the crosswind carry it to flat. Instead of that first one, I threw flat and it carried it to turn over and cut out. So just a small adjustment in a crosswind like this. All right, so we threw a good kind of blasting Calvin Heimberg line drive shot into this landing zone. And now we're gonna throw over this Tupla, kind of in between those, the left, the center, and the right one. I would say it's probably about a 300-foot shot, something like that. I'm throwing a disc faster than I normally would because we got a pond on the short side of the green. So, and if anything, I want to carry long, 25-30, because if I'm 25-30 short, I'm in a pond. So normally would go with a putter, but I'm going to go with the disc up to take that pond out of play. And that feels like exactly the distance I want. We'll see how it acts up on the green. Okay, yeah, perfect. So I went a little bit long, kept that nice faster disc nice and high, so that way it has that chance to go over the out of bounds and then start fading back. And you know, anytime you're going uphill over some trouble like that, the height is going to be super important, just so that way you take the OB variable out of play as much as you possibly can. And so disking up, controlling the height, those are two of the most important things when you got OB short like a pond or some sort of OB, man-made OB. So yeah, as you saw, we took the long side of the basket because there's no reason that you want to be anywhere short, because that's where the pond is. So just make sure that you're pushing this long side, and that's the safe zone on this hole. All right, hole 16, we got 94 meters, low ceiling par 3, and what is it, 308 feet. I would throw a putter normally, but since we got a low ceiling, I'm gonna have to disc up and throw more of a line drive instead of a putter I would normally throw high. So low line drive with the kind of mid-range shot, and just I can throw it pretty hard because the height's not gonna allow me to go far. So I threw it a little bit too high. I'm gonna throw one more. See here. This one's gonna be a little lower. There we go, way better. I like that shot a lot. Let's get up a little bit. Ah, okay, so a little bit short, but I like it. I hit the line really well. That first one, I just kind of did it went a little bit more left than I wanted. And what that is that's my arm coming through before my hips rotating. And I rotated my hips through and then my arm. And that's what happened on that second one as I made that adjustment. So yeah, I hit the tree, but I know exactly what I did immediately, fix it. And then now I'm leaving this hole with a positive thought with the fact that I rotated my hips a lot better on that second one. So those are just the little things I work through even when I throw a bad shot. I'm learning and just trying to constantly drill that good muscle memory into my head and not taco my good mid-range, which I did on that one. Hit a tree right off the tee, but it still should fly good. Tricky hole, as you see. I'm left raised basket from circle 2 edge. I just need to throw a little bit harder is really what I need. So yeah, take a couple putts from circle 2 edge. I like that. Still missing high, that one's in. Oh, dang it, kept high, and then good height. But yeah, I like this hole a lot. As you see, pretty challenging through the gap, and you can't really get it. You want to throw it obviously back to the pin, but that height of the ceiling kind of forces you to throw it lower than you want. All right, hole 17, 94 meters uphill. We got a Mando on the right, and we got a dead straight tunnel, almost like the hole on the front 9 that we had a dead straight tunnel downhill. This one's going uphill this time. And 94 meters, so 308 feet, but it's more like 340, 350. And I'm gonna throw an Explorer just because it's going uphill into a headwind. And I like that a lot. And we're parked. That's the right disc. That's how you do it. Now you know. All right, we threw the absolute perfect shot. Explored at friggin' 2 feet. That's the play. I hit the cement. Even without the cement hit, I'm still 10, 15 feet short, but yeah, really happy with that shot. Explorer on 17 it is. All right, hole 18. Gotta be one of the most picturesque holes in disc golf. Gotta be up there, top 5 for me, for sure. 151 meters, 495 feet. Hole 18, kind of just throw a right side hyzer, let it crash in. It's probably gonna play 430, something like that. Not quite 490 like what it's listed, but nice smooth hyzer. I'm gonna wait till I get off the green so I don't kill somebody. But yeah, right side hyzer. Kind of just started off 30 feet right and let it kind of hyzer back in. Left side, something like that. Might be, I'll see how the distance looks on that. Might be a little wide left. Okay, so a little bit too far. I'm gonna throw a little bit more of a, on the second one, I'm gonna throw a little bit more of like a spiking hyzer. Like that first one kind of was like a gliding hyzer. This one I'm gonna kind of want to spike it in more. And so they're both hyzers. This first one's just gonna be a little better of a distance control shot. Bort! So this one's gonna spike down a little bit quicker, so it's not gonna go quite as far left. Yeah, so that second one kind of spiked down. That first one kind of glided out and had a chance to go long. So same hyzer, just better distance control because of the type of hyzer I threw. They're both hyzers, but one's a glidey hyzer and one's kind of a spiking hyzer. And that's just the overstability of that second disc. So this first glidey hyzer, I just wanted to make sure I got safe and threw the right distance. And so it's pretty far. And now that I know the shot, I'm gonna throw the spiky hyzer, which is the second one inside the circle, and that's the enforcer. So it's not quite my overstable, or not quite my hyzer disc, more kind of my spiking hyzer disc. And yeah, that's hole 18. Oh, we can't end with a miss though. There we go. Gotta end with a miss. Thank you guys for watching this week here in Estonia. It's gonna be a great week. We got concerts, we got some Estonian fans, may even be more than last week at the European Open. Can't wait to see. Thanks for watching. See you next time.